What's up, internet? Welcome back. This is Linger22, and Nintendo just announced the Nintendo Switch Lite. They say it's an addition to the Nintendo Switch family, and by using the word family, what could they be trying to allude to? Well, let's look into it. But before we do, I just wanted to remind you guys that if you like discussion videos much like this one, go ahead and subscribe. So with the wording family, that tells me that there's going to be other devices that are going to fit within the Switch. And to me, that means it's going to play all the Switch software, or at least 80% of the software. Some random ideas that I've had, and of course, the first one, if you've watched any of my videos, or I don't want to say any, because I only have a couple videos where I mention this, but I've mentioned a standalone VR Nintendo headset many times, and I feel like, hey, all they really got to do is design a VR standalone headset with the X1 chip, the NVIDIA X1 chip, and then boom, they have a standalone VR set that can play all of the Switch games. And then over time, we can get more and more Switch games. But like I said, I've released another video all on that topic, but it could totally fit within this line, so I feel it's reasonable to mention. And then of course, there could be a standalone console. It's just a set top that just goes right under your TV, and it could have extra horsepower just to boost up the fidelity of your graphics or video games or whatever. Then there could be a cloud version. Maybe it's a dumb, pretty much Raspberry Pi-ish PC, where all it really does is it streams from the cloud. But of course, Nintendo would have to talk to partnerships, because I don't think they could actually develop their own cloud. But you never know, maybe Nintendo can pull something out of their wacky laboratory that is guarded by the Nintendo ninjas. And then one little thing I thought of is, like, what if they made like a tablet? So it's a tablet that's not really designed to be docked, but it's also not designed to be portable. It's more of like those desktop play style. So if you look in the back of your Nintendo Switch game, you'll see that there's 3 different play styles. And now they have a Nintendo Switch Lite that only does portable. And say they come up with a set-top box that goes into the TV version that only displays to the TV. What about a tablet version? What if there was one that only did tablet gameplay? Now, I'm not really sure why you would only want a tablet version, but I could actually see a potential where there could be other software that's not video game related. But if they were to do anything like that, I would hope that it would not be a priority and it would just be kind of an add-on. And then, of course, if they do a big tablet, they can also do a small tablet, but still slightly bigger than the Nintendo Switch itself, and that gives a little bit of variety. Now, why would they want to have variety? And I think the idea of variety would be because, you know, there's a lot of people out there that like to have more than one Nintendo game system. And if there was a Nintendo Switch family set, then you could definitely picture a person having a Nintendo Switch Lite, a Nintendo Switch VR set, a Nintendo Switch tablet, and there you go. There's 3 consoles for one person. That one person would be encouraged to have more than one hardware solution. And then, of course, because it's a whole family set, they could just literally keep coming out with consoles, because they don't have to build up a whole library for these new consoles, because guess what? That library already exists. Like I said, if you want to come up with a VR headset, boom, the library is already there. If you want to come up with a set-top box that goes into your TV, boom, the library is already there. Everything will just kind of up-res to be naturally on that console. And then, of course, because you have all of these different options, you also have a variety of input methods without marketing a radical new console with exclusive games. So if you look at the original Wii, it was a console that came out, and the reason why it exists is because they couldn't release a peripheral on the GameCube because nobody would buy it. Like, nobody would buy a motion, or maybe a few people would buy a motion controller to plug into the GameCube. So what they did is they literally reskinned the GameCube with a new controller, and then people took it as a new console. And I say that kind of lightly because the Wii is not necessarily a reskin of the GameCube, but just to simplify things, let's go with that. Now, if they wanted to make a game that's solely based on touchscreen, they can, because there are multiple options with touchscreen. It probably wouldn't work well with a set-top box that goes into your TV, but that's okay, because you probably already have 2 different Switch systems, and at least one of them has to have a touchscreen. Now, the one thing is, what do they need to do for a smooth transition into having a architecture where people can have multiple consoles, yet still feel like they're within one single Nintendo ecosystem? Well, they could definitely create a better multi-console environment, and what I mean by that is better cloud saving, and you buy one game, you can play them all on your consoles instantly. So you buy one game, boom, it's all downloaded on all your consoles that you're signed into. And of course, compatibility across all devices must be there. And when I say all, I mean at least 80%, because I feel like 80% is a predominant number, and that number would make it very easy and really lax for most people. And a little small thing is the multi-use for the hardware to ensure none of these little consoles collect dust. So what I mean by that is that, for example, that large tablet did come out, and let's say that Nintendo opened the doors so third parties can start releasing productivity software, like Microsoft Office can be brought on there and all that stuff. That will keep it so that, you have other uses for your tablet. So say you can use your Nintendo tablet to, I don't know, browse the web as you use your set-top box to actually play the game, that kind of thing. You're still within the Nintendo ecosystem. But if Nintendo were to decide to do something crazy like that, I would hope that it would not be their priority. Instead, that they would just open the doors and support other third parties, much like Microsoft, Google, and all that stuff. Of course, like I said, do not make it a priority. These consoles are all about games. Games, first of all. That's what's important. Now, let's just remember that Nintendo is using an ARM SoC. ARM is very versatile, especially when you compare it to what Microsoft and Sony are using, which is x86, which, yes, it is more powerful, but the battery power isn't that great. So we're not going to see any Xbox or PlayStation 5 portables or anytime soon. Maybe we'll get a slimmed down PS4 or something like that, but I don't see the potential of them doing that compared to what Nintendo has. So yeah, because x86 is not energy efficient, Nintendo has an opportunity, and I think Nintendo should take advantage of this. And I could see this benefiting them as a company, and actually benefiting us as gamers, because then we get more unique hardware. We get these wacky, crazy ideas that Nintendo could possibly come up with without creating a whole new architecture and forcing us into another Wii U. Because, hey, they could literally come out with a console that's pretty much what the Wii U was, but still plays all the Switch games. Of course, I would hope that they wouldn't do that, but technically, with this idea, they can. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think that Nintendo Switch family ecosystem is a real thing that should happen, or do you think it's a terrible idea and they should just only focus on just the current models that are out? Let me know down below, and just to remind you one more time, if you like discussion videos much like this one, go ahead and subscribe, and I will be back with more.